My name is Jackie O'Quinn. I'm a trainer here with Destiny Global. We come here every other week and bring you a success tip. Myself, Ms. Carmen O'Quinn, and Mr. Ken Brown. This week, I want to talk to you about accomplishing your goals that you have for yourself this year. Listen, January 1st, everybody starts off optimistic. Everybody's looking forward to what they're going to be able to accomplish for the year. But somewhere around the second, third, fourth, fifth week, people oftentimes start getting a little bit of anxiety. They start getting a little bit frustrated. They start wondering if they're going to be able to accomplish their goals. And before you know it, by the time we get into February, many people have given up on New Year's resolutions. They've given up on goals. They've given up on ideas, things they want to accomplish. Since this is a success tip, I want to give you a strategy that I personally have been using that has helped me to be able to accomplish my goals year after year after year. Typically, it's about this time that I start taking an inventory on where I'm at right now. You see, in the beginning of my career as an entrepreneur, I first started business working for myself when I was in my early 20s. And at the time, I was frustrated, I was struggling, I was trying to learn this thing, I was trying to figure this thing out. Well, as many of you know, when you start a business or you build a business or you try to scale a business, as an entrepreneur, oftentimes you're wearing a lot of different hats. Especially when you're a small business owner, when you're working, for yourself, or you maybe have one or two or three employees, you wear a lot of hats, you do a lot of things. And so one of your goals might be you want to grow your business. And what can happen oftentimes is you can get overwhelmed very, very quickly. And if you're like me, I'm a bit of an optimistic. Optimistic? I don't think I said that right. I'm an optimist. I'm a bit of an optimist. So a lot of times I'll be like, okay, I'm behind, but that's okay. I've got time. I can catch up. I can make up ground. And if you're not careful, by the time you get to February, you've lost ground. By the time you get to March, you've lost even more ground. And what ends up happening is you kind of give up on the goal and you just kind of run through life doing the very best you can, hoping that somehow by some miracle you'll accomplish something by the end of the year. You'll get to the end of the year, you didn't accomplish what you wanted to accomplish, and then you can feel frustrated. And that can really affect your mindset, if you will, going forward. It can also create insecurities in yourself where you think, you can't accomplish anything. You feel like you fail when you try. And then you give up on creating goals altogether. And that's not where you want to be. As someone who wants to get ahead in life, if you want to succeed, and by the way, it doesn't matter what you're succeeding at. If you want to succeed at losing weight, if you want to succeed at building business, if you want to succeed at growing your income, improving your marriage, then you have to have goals for success. It has to be intentional. So here's a strategy that I'm going to show you that I use. And I used this when I made my first million, and I use this when I helped build a 100 million plus organization. Like, this is something that I've always believed in. And it's a strategy of readjust, refocus, and reset. Now, those are great words that sound good and they kind of rhyme, but let me specifically kind of explain what this does. So if you're in a place right now where you feel like maybe you're starting to get overwhelmed, and be honest with yourself. Think about, what is your goal? You're getting a little bit overwhelmed and you're wondering if it's going to happen. And maybe you set the goal not knowing if you're going to be able to accomplish. Maybe you wanted to make have your first $100,000 year or your first $1 million year. And you don't know if you're going to be able to accomplish that goal. You just have some idea of what it's going to take and you're just running in that direction. And maybe, here we are 2-3 weeks into the year, and you're looking at what you've accomplished so far. And if you get to the end of the month and you're like, you know what? Am I 1/12 of the way? Chances are you're not. And then you'll start justifying. You'll say, it's okay that I'm not quite there yet. Business doesn't build linear. Sometimes it kind of builds exponentially. And that's true sometimes. But you can't hope for a miracle to accomplish your goals. So you have to be very strategic. So if you're overwhelmed right now, I'm going to tell you right now, the first thing you want to do is just readjust what you're doing. And I don't mean necessarily readjust your goals, but readjust where your focus is. If your goal is to make $100,000 or $1 million, or even your first $10,000 year in business, you got a side business, you're like, I want to make $10,000 this year. If that's your goal, don't let the goal be the outcome. Let the goal be the activity and the habits that's going to help you reach the possible outcome. Did you catch that? So let your goal, if your goal, let's put it this way, if your goal is to lose 50 pounds this year, then instead of wondering what it's going to take to lose 50 pounds, just focus on the activity. Maybe you're going to start working out at the gym every day. Focus on the goal being the activity. Okay, I'm going to work out at the gym every single day. And then what you can do is you can say, do you plan to work out 3 days a week or 5 days a week? Multiply that by 52. Let that be your goal, X number of workouts for the year. But what you want to make certain that you're doing is you're readjusting from an outcome that you might not be able to control to an activity that you can fully control. So once you've kind of readjusted what you're looking for, and by the way, it's okay if you would still like to make $100,000. What I can tell you is sometimes when you focus, 1 year in my business, I ended up doing $70,000 my first year in business, part-time working there. Now I work full-time as a registered nurse. And I really wanted to break that $100,000 mark. And I started focusing on activity. Every single week, it was like, what is it going to take me in my business? Now, I worked from home. I worked on the phone a lot. So it was how many phone calls did I need to make? How many clients did I need to be reaching out to? And those were the daily goals that I was creating for myself. Did I hit the goal every day? No. Did I exceed it some days? Yes. But you want to have a minimum goal that you're shooting for. Once you start doing that, then all of a sudden, sometimes you'll end up exceeding your expectations on the outcome. So for example, my second year in business, I ended up, the goal was $100,000 again. I ended up doing $120,000. And I went further than that my third year. And eventually, we made millions of dollars, but I didn't make millions of dollars by focusing on making millions of dollars. I did not grow a sales organization. We had a sales organization that did over $100 million in sales. But I want you to understand something. That was never my goal. I never had a goal to have an organization that did $100 million in profits. That was never, ever, ever the goal. The goal was something much more smaller, much more intangible that I could focus on. In fact, to be very honest with you, it was years later that we started realizing how much, looking back at everything, how much money we'd ended up earning, how much we earned in that organization, how much the overall organization did in sales and profits. So the goal was never the big outcome, but the big outcome took care of itself. But I started exceeding my outcome goals when I was focusing on my daily activity. So that leads to step 2 is refocus. So you readjust your goal, then you refocus. And we're talking about focusing every single day. Now, here's the key. When you have a goal, it's more important that you focus on the activity, and it's more important that you focus on consistency with whatever activity it's going to take to accomplish that goal. So for example, if your goal is to lose 50 pounds and the activity is you're going to work out, you may say, I want to work out 5 days a week. The question I have for you is that realistic for you? Is that realistic? Is it realistic that you can work out 5 days a week? Meaning you're going to have vacations coming up, you're going to have, plans coming up, you may get sick, there's going to be emergencies in your life. Is it realistic that you're going to work out 5 days a week throughout the entire year? And if you miss a workout, are you going to somehow make it up to make certain that you work out 5 days a week? If the answer is, I don't know if that's realistic, Jackie, then maybe your goal is 4 days a week. Because then you have some flexibility. If for some reason you miss a workout, you can make it up the next week, that kind of thing. I would tell you to let your goal be 4 days a week. And you're like, well, Jackie, I don't know if that's going to be enough for me to lose 50 pounds. I don't know either. But here's what I know. If you set a goal that you're not going to be able to accomplish from the onset, then if you set an activity goal that you're not going to be able to accomplish from the start, then you're never, ever going to be able to finish up and reach the goal of losing the 50 pounds. Listen, if you work out 4 days a week and you lose 35 pounds, is that a problem? No. Guess what? In another 6 months, you're probably going to lose the other 15 pounds. So it's not so much a pass or fail in the outcome. Focus on the daily activity, and then you're able to strategize day by day. You're able to focus on what you can control. When you refocus, you're refocusing on what you can control. So for example, if you have an off day or you have an off week, you can look back and realize, where can I improve? What can I do better? As opposed to wondering and hoping about some outcome that you literally cannot truly control. Listen, do you know what was the difference when I made $70,000 and $120,000? Can I tell you that part of it, just a small part of it, and I hate to say this, a small part of it was luck. There was part of it that was just outside of my control. I found clients who ended up spending $11,000 as opposed to clients who were spending $4,000. I just found more of them one year. I got a few more referrals. Can you directly control how many referrals you get? No, you can't. So readjust your goal, readjust it on the activity, refocus on that activity every single day. And then here's the third point, reset yourself. So listen, the past is the past. If you've already gotten off track, then so be it. It doesn't matter. What happened the first week and the second week of the year doesn't matter. What matters is what's going to happen the fourth week, the fifth week, the sixth week, and the rest of the year. Anytime you find yourself off track, reset. Don't wait for next year to create new goals and to set new goals. No, reset right away. Reset on your activity immediately. It's a reset. It's a new beginning. The past is the past. It doesn't matter about what happened yesterday. Do not beat yourself up over yesterday. Do not beat yourself up over past failures. Be excited about and be optimistic about the possibility of the future. Be optimistic about a chance to reset or restart, because it is a brand new start. So keep that in mind. And by the way, one more thing. Do not compare yourself to other people. Just make certain that you're improving. You're not in a competition. You saw someone, your neighbor, they lost 100 pounds in a year, and you're like, well, I should be able to lose 50 or I'm a failure. No. Have you ever lost 50 pounds before in a year? Then, okay. Have you ever lost 35 pounds before in a year? And you're like, yeah, but I gained it back. Okay. So lose it again and then reset. Don't worry about what happened in the past. You see, now you're already focused on what's happening in the past. And I want to say this when it comes to weight loss and working out and fitness and that sort of thing. Sometimes when your goal isn't, I want to work out 4 days a week, for example, and it could be diet, it could be whatever. I'm just using this as an example. Sometimes it could be the time period. You're like, you're in a hurry for results. You're motivated, you're impatient. You wanted to lose 50 pounds yesterday. You wanted a six-pack yesterday. Listen to me. Sometimes it might not be, I'm going to work out 4 days a week or 3 days a week. It might be, I can work out 5 days a week, but I'm only going to work out for 15 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half or 2 hours. And you're like, what's 15 minutes? Listen, you can always exceed over time your minimum expectation. You can always exceed the goal that you can control. It's more important that you have something that you know that you can accomplish and you focus on consistency. The reason most people don't achieve what they want to achieve is simply because they're not consistent enough. One of the single biggest traits of those who succeed in life are those who can be consistent in an area that leads them to success. So it's not about, busting your butt and, working out 2 hours a day for the next 90 days. No, it's about what can you do consistently over time. Listen, I have lost 40 something pounds in my life when I started working out, and I've been working out consistently for 5 or 6 days a week now for, 3 or 4 years. It's been a long time. It's wild to say that. But in the very beginning, and today I do about an hour and 15 to an hour and a half workout 4 days a week. But I want you to know that in the beginning, for the first, maybe it was 6 months, 9 months, I literally worked out 25 minutes a day. That was it. 25 minutes a day. And my focus was develop a good habit of working out 25 minutes a day. 15 minutes a day is important. Listen, did you work out 15 minutes a day last week? And I'm just using this as an example. Whatever your goal is, keep this in mind. Anytime you're getting overwhelmed, you just need to readjust what you're working on. Feeling of overwhelm, anxiety is never going to lead you to your goal. The real goal is improvement. Improvement can be measured, improvement can be celebrated, and improvement can be built upon. So the real goal is improvement. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, take a step back, readjust what you're looking at, readjust your goals. And if you're already looking at the daily activity, then refocus on what that activity is. Refocus on what you're going to be doing each and every day and how are you doing, reevaluate how you're doing each and every day. And then reset. Whatever happened yesterday is yesterday. You haven't made enough sales calls. You haven't prospected enough people. You haven't talked to enough clients. You haven't advertised enough. Whatever you look back in the past and you can see that has disappointed you, That disappointment is in the past. Going forward, it's optimism, it's hope. It's refocus, readjust. By the way, I'm going to tell you this. We go into some in-depth strategies at our next live training event called First Step Success. It's called First Steps to Success. It's about getting your mind right, getting your heart right, and equipping you with real world skills that can help you achieve the goals that you have, whether it's in your business, your finances, your relationship, no matter what area of life you're looking to improve. We want to help you get there. Our next First Step Success event is selling out quickly. We have over 200 people already registered, and new registrations are literally coming in every single day. It's possible we could sell out. The next event is coming up here in about a week and a half, I believe, January 27th, 28th, and 29th. That's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. January 27th, 28th, and 29th. Go ahead and go to the website. There should be a link below this video. Click on that link, get your registration, get yourself there, bring your spouse, bring your kids, bring your coworkers, heck, bring your boss, anyone you care about that you want to be able to see them succeed. Get yourself there and get them there. You'll be glad you did. Those of you that are employers, you have coworkers, you have employees that work with you, you have management staff. If you want to get alignment with your goals and you want to see exponential growth in your business and your organization, then I'm going to encourage you to get all of your top level managers and supervisors and any of your salespeople in particular to First Steps to Success. This is going to be able to change your 2023, and we look forward to seeing you there. My name is Jackie O'Quinn. It's an honor to be here. And in 2 more weeks, Mr. Ken Brown's going to be here giving you another success tip. You're not going to want to miss it. Thank you for watching. Have a great night and God bless.